Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And we say good morning to our Mayor, Kapiti Mayor Guru. Kia ora, Guru.
Kia ora, Nigel, and listeners, good morning to you.
Now, Waitangi Day tomorrow, the celebrations on the Kapiti Coast are a little different this year.
Yes, it is different. For a start, the council is playing host. Previously, I think for the last 10 or more years, it has always been moved from one of the three EV partners, Ngatitoa, Rangatira, Tiatiwa, Kipakorongatai, and Ngāti They've taken turns. Last year, I suggested that the council is actually a partner, so therefore we should have a turn. Okay,
so what's the format tomorrow then, Guru?
The format tomorrow is an invite-only session, 9 o'clock, to open an exhibition. What it is what we put together is the descendants. We have identified the descendants of the original signatories to the treaty on the Kapiti Coast.
Oh, yes.
Because the treaty was moved around in 1840. I think their signatures were taken at different times on Kapiti Island, I think twice, and then in Waitangi and Otaki, and also back to Motungara Island, which is another island of Kapiti Island. So we have traced some of the descendants of the original signatories, and they will be telling their stories. And so the exhibition is put around this. So the focus is on the treaty itself. In my speech to open the exhibition, I intend to actually talk about the focus on the treaty, because previously it has been just a welcoming address by the local EV who have managed to host it, and then you have cultural events or food and stuff like that, but there's not been enough emphasis on the treaty itself. So by 1 o'clock then the exhibition will be open to the public, and it'll be subsequently moved to the Parapumu Library for a few weeks, and then on to the Otaki Library, the Waitangi Library, and also Pakariki.
Right, so it's open to the public from what, about 1 o'clock tomorrow?
1 o'clock, yes, right.
Yeah, so it's just a short... Have we got a copy of the treaty there?
Well, I think the original copy of the one, because there were different versions that were moved on, I think, and so the copy of that will be up for people to have a look.
Excellent, good stuff. Now, I see the Kapiti Council's proposed district plan could be in for a rocky passage, as several heavyweight organisations have already lodged appeals with the Environment Court. We're going to try and settle these before we get to the Environment Court, or is that out of the argument?
No. That's part of the process. I mean, if you look, you say rocky. If you look at the number of other councils that have had, plan changes, like a total plan change, plan change, in terms of the number of submissions and in terms of appeals, we are doing quite well.
Okay.
So that's my understanding. And the other thing, of course, between now and it's going to before Judge Dwyer, the Environment Court, the appeals will go through a mediation process, and so we can resolve them before we need to get there.
Sure.
But it's interesting. I mean, we expect that some of the decisions by the commissioners panel would be challenged. I mean, we have the big players like Coastlands, Airport Holdings, and the Bellingers and the St. Heliers are part of the 17 appeals. We expect that.
Yeah, Federated Farmers. Now, that's an unusual one. They've raised several objections to the plan. What are they?
All the appeals are on Council's website.
Okay.
People can have a read. I haven't had a chance to actually go through all of them.
Okay. Yep. So they'll be heard first in the Council meeting rooms, and that'll start when?
I don't know when. No, I mean, the appeals, the mediation process, we'll see how the staff negotiate with them. So that's a process that's outside of any hearing and stuff. Or if it's not resolved, then it goes to the Environment Court.
Okay. Right. So it's quite a big, long journey before we...
Look, I mean, the thing is, a lot of other councils do rolling reviews, which means they do a particular section of the district plan and then move on to the next section. what we decided during, I think we started Jenny Rowan's time, was to review the whole district plan, because every 10 years you've got to review it, and so they decided to review the whole lot. Some people say this is not a good idea, but the problem is, by the time you finish the process, it's close to 10 years, and you've got to review it again.
Yeah, it's a big job, all right, isn't it? Never ending,
Huge.
You might say. Never ending. Now, I see where the Conservation Minister, Eugenie Sage, is going to give some guidance on coastal policy following a new analysis released by her. Is that good or bad?
I think that's good, because I know that the findings are... one of the findings that has come out of the review of the New Zealand Coastal Policy Statement is the impacts of vehicles on beaches. And the need, and this is more critical, is the review has identified the need for guidance to support coastal hazard policies and studies. This is an area where councils, especially coastal councils right across the country, are facing problems as to how to manage this, and we need increasing central government direction.
We're going to need their money too, aren't we?
We are setting up a working group here on the Kapiti Coast of stakeholders, and also regionally we have got a working group of councillors and council staff working on a regional perspective of it, so that we can help each other.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You look at the storm impact in parts of Wellington, and we want to know what sort of policies they are using to manage it. Are they going to build walls? They're going to build rock revetments, or they're just going to leave it and manage a retreat from that? I mean, this is a whole range of options.
So it all comes down to money, Guru, and that's central government money that's really needed to help out local governments.
That's right, because I think the local governments, what we need to do is we need to be very sure, given the projected increase in storms and also sea level rise, we need to have a precautionary approach of where we cannot allow development.
Yes, sure.
Because once you commit yourself to allowing the development, then you end up being liable for whatever happens.
Certainly are. Now, while we're talking about the coast, I see, I think one of the ministers is calling a meeting of mayors, 22 mayors, to talk about freedom camping. Are you invited to that particular meeting?
No, I mean, I'm glad that I wasn't invited, because if you're invited, then you're on the list of some drastic stuff happening around there. So, no, and I've checked with staff. The number of complaints have been very low, and the complaints have been mostly about people overextending the time in that place, or if the place had 4 or 6 lots for the numbers that can stay there, there have been more than those numbers. So those are enforcement issues, which I think if signal early enough or complaints or phone calls are made, then our staff can respond to that quite quickly. But having said that, I think I am going to get a briefing on move to reinforce or create a bylaw. At present, we think we have been able to manage it, but a bylaw would provide us better tools for managing this. But the problem is, you would know that back, I think, was it Alan Milne's time, when there was a move to implement or create a bylaw for Freedom Campus, we had huge negative response from that group of people who are well heeled and they own these very large mobile homes.
Yes.
They support action against Freedom Campus, the type of Freedom Campus that we know are giving problems. But at the same time, they don't want those restrictions to be on the type of activity they have, because I think those mobile home people are, a lot of them are retired people on huge, some of these mobile homes are $150,000 jobs.
Yeah, well, they're self-contained, so they're fairly right, aren't they? They look after the place. Yeah, but by the
same token, they were threatening legal action.
Right. But it's the tourists that we've got to be concerned about, and they're not aware that you're not allowed to do freedom camping in a lot of cases, but we don't want them defecating in the bushes and things like that. So isn't a bylaw a very good idea to get into place so we can tell them that?
Well, I mean, the bylaw doesn't tell you anything, does it? At point of source, where the people go and hire the cars or the vans or trucks, it only gives us the ability to find them and stuff like that. So I think managing the tourists who come, it will be difficult, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah. All right, Guru. So Waitangi Day, you've got a busy day tomorrow, and the public are welcome to the Kapiti Chambers from 1 o'clock to 3.
Yes.
Good on you. Have a good day tomorrow.
Okay, mate.
Thank you.
Yes, bye.
There we are, our Kapiti Mayor Guru here on Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.